workers a bathroom break. Ain't that right? If you've got a space, you can make sure that you're treating people well and giving them solid health care benefits. That they don't have a 3-hour commute to and from work. That they can afford the house that they can live in. That people don't have to be sleeping in their cars in order to work for Amazon. All of this is an indignity and an injustice, and it has no place in New York City. And we're going to change that. And right here, our workers out here are going to change that.
That is footage from a big rally that happened over the weekend in advance of another Amazon unionization vote. You saw in that video, Chris Smalls, the organizer for Amazon Labor, AOC and Bernie Sanders as well. They were visiting Amazon workers in New York just a day before ballots would begin to be cast in another spot that's seeking to unionize. Actually, I believe it's directly across the street from the site of the successful vote that happened not long ago. By the way, Sanders was speaking right before leaving to travel to Richmond, Virginia to talk with Starbucks workers who begun Amazon organizing coffee shops at Starbucks as well. So busy organizing weekend for Bernie. I want to give you a little bit more of what AOC had to say about where she wants to see this movement go in this.
We're gonna make sure that they go all the way. We've got their back. We've got their back. And if Amazon and Blue Origin wants $10 billion contracts, and if they want $100 million tax breaks from the state, well, they got to do their end of the deal too. All right. So we're out here to support them. We're out here to make sure that we've got our workers' backs, because again, New York City is a union town, and we're not going to stop until the United States of America is union made. So thank you all so much.
So now, as we're filming this, the voting is going on. This is at the LDJ5 facility. There are 1,500 Amazon workers there eligible to vote, and it might, possibly create like an amazing 1-2 punch in that area in the fight to unionize this massive employer. We'll have to see. As we know, not all of these are a lock, especially at Amazon. There was the issues at Bessemer and all that. But this is potentially the next step in that effort. And so it's awesome to see it, Francesca.
Yeah, no, and I think it's obviously really, really important that people like Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are out there. I'm still not convinced that had they been there sooner, that this vote would have gone through. We know what happens when all eyes turn to one location and the media starts to pay attention. Sometimes flying under the radar, that can be a good thing. It can be a good thing to just focus on the task at hand and not make it a giant sort of media spectacle. I know AOC was quote unquote called out by Christian Smalls, by others for not being there. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with that personally. I think AOC was one of the people who was most pivotal in making sure that Amazon didn't move its entire HQ to New York, which would have done irreparable harm, not just in terms of workers' rights and just how they sort of, spawn exploitation, but in terms of housing, in terms of, and that coupled with Eric Adams, can you guys effing imagine what that would have been like? So I think AOC and Bernie have been some of the people the most on the front lines. The fact that this particular unionization effort, they weren't out in front on. Sometimes you're not gonna be out on front on it, and thank God that Christian Smalls is out there, because what a leader he is, as are so many others. So I'm super pumped about this.
Agreed. We want, obviously we want as many politicians as possible. They're going to help to raise the profile, provide support, all that. But we also know that is something that will help. What you need is a broad base of organizers, and that's what they've done. Obviously, Chris Smalls and other organizers have done absolutely amazing work. Super quick note, just because I've seen a lot of people note it in the chat. This is the least important part of this entire story, but yes, I love his jacket too, and I want one of them. But anyway, it was an Eat the Rich jacket. It was pretty cool. Anyway, that's the least important part of this. I don't want to focus too much on that because, I would rather talk about what they said, what they're trying to accomplish, because the speech of AOC, and we're going to read a little bit of what Bernie Sanders has to say. Let's not forget that this is just the latest in many, many appearances by both of them in support of a ton of different labor actions, including recently, including in that area. They are continuing to do that, which I think is what is important. Now, AOC went on to say, we have another election tomorrow. That is today, by the way, and we're going to support them in that. And the day after that, and the day after that all the way. But what we need Amazon to do first and foremost is to recognize the union that won their election, talking about the previous effort. And so that hasn't happened yet. But what has happened is that Chris Smalls says that he has been approached by workers at more than 100 other Amazon facilities expressing interest in unionization. I hope he's got a lot of support, because I don't even know how you start to pursue that much, but that is awesome. And Amazon, for their part, they're still fighting it. So like, it's one of the things when the vote went through, we want to congratulate the workers and we want to celebrate it, but we also don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, because Amazon is there. They put a bunch of money into fighting it. They try to dissuade their workers in some legal ways and some illegal ways from unionizing. And as of right now, they're still trying to get a court to overturn it. And so we don't know exactly how this is going to go, but continuing the effort in as many facilities as possible, making it as high profile an issue as possible, not only helps those workers, but also helps to inspire workers to unionize other companies. It helps to inspire regular people who might not have thought a lot about unionization, or might have grown up in a time when basically everything you hear growing up about unions is coming from people who absolutely despise them. And so you're brought up to think that it's a big waste of your time and money. And so all of this, I think, helps to fight back against decades of basically free anti-union propaganda that's just been out there ambient in the environment.
And I just want to turn everyone's attention to read Ryan Grimm's new piece in The Intercept, which talks about the importance of Biden's NLRB head, Jennifer Abruzzo, who, because of her rulings on labor issues of late, that these Amazon workers had a lot more leeway than NLRBs in the past, and then that situations in the past. So the importance of, although he has failed in so many ways, that a Democrat's appointment of a head of the NLRB can do things like enable workers to organize inside the facilities rather than only be on the outside of them. That's huge. So these are small changes that have big, big ripple effects. And thankfully, Joe Biden, he said Amazon ambassador by name. It's the one issue that he's been minimally better on than Republicans, but then even on former Democrats as well. So everyone check that article out.
100%. I mean, and he could be much better on it. I mean, one of the supposed appeals of Biden was that he was the sort of guy that maybe would be a little bit more involved in this. And you're right. And you, by the way, are going out of your way to give him credit. There is still obviously much more that he could do.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.